Hey, this is Dave from Unipro, and this is episode number 2 in the Millionaire From Scratch series where I'm documenting the entire process of building a $1 million per year business from nothing. And this episode is all about discovering what type of business to start, what type of product or service to sell. And this is so important. If you watched episode number 1, and I'll link to that in the description of this video, if you watched episode number 1 of the Millionaire From Scratch series, you'll see that we set some goals for this brand new business. We got some lofty goals. I'm not interested in starting some side hustle or some side business, some hobby business. No, we're starting a real business. And one of the goals is to earn at least $1 million per year. And that's going from 0 to $1 million per year. So it's super important that we pick the right type of business that's going to allow us to do that. And that's exactly what we're going to figure out in this video. So let's dive in. So like I mentioned in episode number 1 of this Millionaire From Scratch series, we talked about our business goals, our dream business. And if you haven't watched that video, definitely go check it out. It only takes 6 minutes to figure out exactly what your dream business looks like. So that's our goal, to hit at least $1 million in a single year. And there's some other goals as well, but I want to show you something. After releasing that first episode, I got this message. This message is from someone who checked out this project, the Millionaire From Scratch project. And she says to me, "Hey Dave, is it really possible to go from 0 to $1 million in a year? Or is this a false claim? Thanks." And I appreciate it. She's straight up saying, "Hey Dave, I kind of doubt that this is possible." I appreciate that. And here's my response. I said, well, it's taken us a bit longer than a year in the past, but I think we're going to be faster than that this time. And I do want to set some expectations here, because I'll tell you something. If you're following anyone and they say it's easy to start $1 million business, $1 million per year business, no problem. You can just start that in a couple of weeks. You're going to be earning $1 million. I'd say run away. That probably is not true.
That's simply not true.
In fact, I'm going to show you some numbers from one of our previous businesses here. So I'm just going to pull up Stripe. And when you take a look at this, I want to show you our sales numbers here. You can see this particular business really started making sales in the summer of 2019. You can see sales started to grow here. And over the course of the next 2 years, so by the summer of 2021, you can see that this one had done about $2.5 million in sales. But that's over the course of 2 years. So if anyone's saying you're going to make $1 million in a couple weeks or a couple months, probably isn't true. But can you do it in a year? Can you do it in 2 years? Definitely. And that's what this project is all about. So there's just one problem.
Do we have a problem?
We need to know what type of business we're going to create that's going to allow us to earn that type of money. And maybe you don't have a product or service or a business idea right now, and that's the frustrating part. Or maybe you already have a product or service, you're already selling a little bit of it, but you're just not sure that that's actually the business that's going to take you to at least $1 million per year. It hasn't proven to be a winner yet. And what we want to avoid is wasting lots of time, weeks, months, even years, like many entrepreneurs do, chasing a business or a product or a service idea that's never going to get to that level. It's never going to make $1 million. It's never going to become a dream business. We want to avoid that wasted time. So how do you choose? How do you choose what type of business to pursue? Well, some people will tell you to, follow your heart, or to go after a business that just helps a lot of people. And if you just help a lot of people, you're going to make a lot of money. And I'm going to tell you, I disagree with that. I actually don't think that's true. Let me show you something here. I saw this post recently. It says, "I'm looking for 25 people who want to earn recurring income. The best part is it only costs $1 to join me." And so this person who's offering this, they may have great intentions. Maybe they do want to help tons of people, but think about what type of customer is a business like this going to attract? A business that's offering their products or services for just $1 is going to attract people who only have $1 or who don't want to invest very much money. And so it's going to be very hard for a business like this that's trying to just help people, whether they have money or not. It's going to be really hard for a business like this to grow and earn a lot of money. And I'm not saying it's bad to help people. Of course, it's good to help people. And whatever type of business we end up building, we always want to help people. But there needs to be money-making potential as well. A business's intent is to earn profit. And so that's super important for this project, this Millionaire From Scratch project. We want to help people, but it's a business. We want to make money. And so again, how do we do that? How do we figure out what type of business to run? Well, I'm going to walk you through the process that Lucy, my wife, and I, that we use. And I'm going to warn you, this is some work. It's actually a lot of work what I'm about to show you. And most business owners or entrepreneurs, people who want to be entrepreneurs, they won't go to the effort of doing what I'm about to show you. And that's why most people aren't making $1 million per year. They're not willing to do some of these hard steps. And so I'm going to show you exactly what we do. And I encourage you to do this, because this is going to lead you to the type of business that's going to become your dream business. So what does this work? Well, I'm going to show you. We're going to go over to what I call the the 50 how-tos. And this is a list of 50 problems that I've seen in the world. So either I've experienced them, Lucy's experienced them, we've experienced them together, I've seen other people experiencing them. 50 problems that I believe I could offer some sort of help in solving. And I don't necessarily need to know what that looks like yet, what the product or service will be, but I just know that I have some sort of experience, some sort of expertise. I could help people who are facing these problems. And this is what I want you to do as well, is to list 50 how-to problems that you believe you could offer some sort of assistance with, help solving this problem. Let me give you examples, because these 50 how-tos that I came up with, they're all over the map. Some of them are business related, some of them are fitness related, some of them are personal related, some of them are relationship related. So let me read some of these out to you. How to maintain work-life balance. I've struggled with this myself. I've seen a lot of people struggle with it. How to lose weight, maybe for parents. How to overcome the fear of commitment. An interesting one about relationships. Lucy and I, before we got married, we both had this fear of commitment. How to run a business with your spouse or partner. How to close sales without sales calls. How to get more website traffic. How to recover from divorce. How to get paid more at work, how to improve your sleep or remove fatigue. So you can see these are all over the map. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my entire list of these 50 how-to ideas and I'll put it in the comment section below. So this might inspire you. This is the first step. List out 50 how-tos. And it's really important that you start each of these with how to increase bone density. You'll see why that's important in just a second, but do the work. I really encourage you to do this work and get at least 50. I'll scroll down here and you'll see I actually got 54 of these. And I admit it got tougher towards the end, but some of the best ideas came out as I continue to push through. So go get your 50 how-tos. Again, these are problems that you think you could offer some sort of assistance or some sort of solution for. That's step number one. The second step, after you have this list of 50 how-tos, is to do some competitive research to see what's already out there. And to do this, we're going to use the world's two biggest search engines. So we're going to use Google and we're going to use YouTube. And what I did is literally go through each of these, any of these ideas that actually interested me. So when I went back and looked at my list, some of them weren't as interesting. I don't actually want to build a business around that, but any of them that did, which was most of these, I went over to Google and YouTube and simply did a little bit of a search. So I'll show you an example here. I'm going to take this is one of the how-tos I came up with, how to build community in a new city. This is something I've experienced with. I know people have this problem. So I put this into Google and you can see there's a bunch of search results here. Now, here's a mistake that some people would make is they look at all these search results and say, oh, wow, there's so much competition out there. There's no way I can start a business around that. But when you actually look deeper, what you'll realize, this is a good example. As I started looking at this example, how to build community in a new city, this is a great example of a topic that people create content around. But I didn't find any really good competitors that were selling a service or a product specifically for this. Now, you might think, well, that's a great opportunity, Dave. You could be the only one in the market. Maybe, or maybe that's a red flag that says people who move to a new city, they might search for this. They might read some blog posts. They might watch some videos, but they're not actually going to pay for a product or service. And as I looked here at the competition, I concluded that this is one that doesn't have opportunity to monetize very well. To make $1 million in a year, I think would be challenging. So this is one I could cross off my list simply by finding no competition. I'm going to show you another example that was in a similar boat. I did another Google search for another one of my how-tos was how to volunteer in a meaningful way. And again, there's 190 million search results here, but as I looked at the results, what were they? Well, it's articles, it's blog posts, it's databases of volunteer opportunities. There weren't businesses, services, or products that were fulfilling that need, which tells me there's probably not a huge opportunity to grow this into $1 million business on a yearly basis. And so this is one that I could cross off my list. So you want to go through your list of 50 how-tos and cross off any where there's no competition. If there's no competition, chances are, unless you hit like that absolute diamond in the rough, that absolute golden ticket business, which would be hard to do, you're going to find that those businesses where there's no competition, there's probably not a huge opportunity. And so I'd encourage you to cross those off the list. And that's what I did. I crossed a whole bunch of mine off the list that don't have competition. Now I'm going to go over to YouTube because the other thing that you might find is that there's tons of competition. And that's not necessarily a bad thing unless the competitors are fulfilling that problem or solving that problem in a very similar way to how you envision your business potentially being fulfilled. So let me show you an example here. I went into YouTube and I searched how to repair knees. I battled with knee injuries for years. I think I could offer a lot of value to someone who's going through the same struggle. However, when I put that into YouTube, did I find competition? Yeah, I sure did. And I found out about this guy, the knees over toes guy. And as I go through these search results here, I see this guy over and over and over again. And so I did a bit of a deep dive into his business and find out that he's got tons of products and services that he's already selling. And the way that he's solving that problem, how to repair knees, is very similar to what I would be delivering. And so do I want to be a Me Too business doing the exact same thing as someone who's already established in the marketplace? That's going to be an uphill battle. And so this is one that unfortunately I can cross off my list. This was one that I was actually quite interested in pursuing. Let me show you another example. Another how-to that I had was how to monetize a podcast. I've done that in past businesses. I had very successful podcasts. I could create a product or service helping other people do the same. But as I did a YouTube search, I came across Pat Flynn. And maybe you know all about Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income. And he's got all types of content and products and services that are solving for this problem. As I looked at his solution, I realized, okay, that's pretty similar to what I'd be doing. In fact, our businesses would be almost the exact same. He's so far ahead, and I'm offering a Me Too product or service. That's going to be a tough business to turn into $1 million business. And so I can cross that off my list. And so as you do this competitive research using the world's two biggest search engines, Google and YouTube, you're going to find either some of these business ideas, there is no competition, there probably isn't a market for a big business in that area, or you're going to find there are some business opportunities that are already pretty saturated with competitors who are doing something very similar to what you'd be offering. What we're looking for, however, is the sweet spot, a place where there is some competition, indicating that there is a market, that people are willing to pay for this product or service, and you could offer something that's unique or has a different perspective. That's the sweet spot. Market looks good, and the way that you'd be delivering a solution for that problem is different from what's already out there. That's our sweet spot. As I went through all of my 50 how-tos or 54 how-tos, I ended up with 3 sweet spots. Let me tell you what they are. The first one is how to be FIRE. And FIRE is an acronym. It stands for Financially Independent and Retire Early. That's something Lucy and I did. We put ourselves in a position where we were ready to retire at 40 years old. We have some experience. When I did the competitive research, I saw there is a market for this. People are willing to pay for help with this to become FIRE. And the way that other businesses are delivering on that, it's different than the way that I think I could deliver on that. I could add some real value, some uniqueness there. So that's one sweet spot. The next one was how to lose weight, which is so saturated, but how to lose weight from a Christian perspective. So a faith-driven weight loss program. And I see a huge opportunity to monetize in that specific niche. How to lose weight from a Christian perspective. That was number 2. And number 3 is how to get engagement on social media. As I did the competitive research, there is a market for this and there are competitors, but the way that I would deliver on it is much, much different from the competition out there. So that's a sweet spot. What about you? What's your sweet spot? What did you come up with? Because here's the fun part. Once you have a sweet spot, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 sweet spot business ideas, now we get to prove which of these is actually $1 million business idea. And we're going to do this in the next video, in episode number 3. We're going to do it by getting paid. We're going to earn money before we even know exactly what our product or service is all about. We're going to get paid. We're going to let the market prove that this is $1 million business before we even really get started. I'm super excited to show you the strategy and how to do that. So if you're interested in doing this, if you're interested in getting paid for your business idea, not for the product or service, just the idea, give this video a like. And in the comments section, I'd like to hear what's one of the business ideas that you came up with that you might like to pursue. Just tell me about one of the ideas you might like to pursue. Because if this Millionaire From Scratch video series is helpful for you, I want to make sure your business really grows and turns into your dream business, whether it's $1 million a year or more than that. So just 2 things I ask. Number 1, give this a like. And then in the comments section, let me know what's one of the business ideas after doing this activity, one of these sweet spot business ideas you have that you might like to pursue. Really excited to see what ideas you came up with, and I can't wait to see you in episode number 3 that's coming out soon.